Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Man United Agenda. And this is a transfer run-up show. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Man United Agenda. And I am solo. I'm flying solo. I'm flying solo. And as always, we got Mr. Omundi in the building. Mr. Omundi, how are you doing, sir?
Yeah, doing great. Thank you. Really excited about the January transfer window because a lot of business goes down. But I'm excited for other clubs, not my club, because the rumours are that we have got money, or we haven't got money, or we can only get loans. So I don't see, what we're getting hyped up about. But we are going to do transfer shows. We have to cover certain people because you just never know, do you, what's going to happen? And there's no confirmation that the money's not there. But then again, there's no smoke without fire. So we're going to explore all avenues and try to get to the bottom of this. And with Detective Mr. B down below us, I'm sure we've got to leave.
Yeah, and not only that though, but if we don't have any money, Manchester United can actually come and get Mr. B on loan for just 2 broccolis. That's all it takes. Loan deal for Mr. B. Mr. B, how you doing, sir? Are you looking forward to Friday night? I just asked that question.
Good. I am looking forward to later on, yes. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you guys. The 10 o'clock show has actually been postponed for 4 years. So, well, yeah, look, a bet's a bet. A bet's a bet. It is what it is. Fred let me down. He's obviously pleased you. I can see the smile on your face. I'm glad one of us is happy in here, at least. So, congratulations, Fred, and congratulations to you, Solo, for setting me up.
Nothing to listen. I don't make these bets. I can't do bets, so I'm not allowed to. But as always, there's one thing we can bet on though, and it's all about our sponsor.
Here it goes. GMS Global Mapping Surveys. As you know, this is architects, property developers, and construction companies all over the country. They offer a wide range of services such as setting out topographical surveys, 3D laser scanning, and monitoring. Check out the link in the description, guys. That's GMS Global Mapping Surveys.
Thank you. So, guys, we've got to say this to Pele's family, friends, and loved ones around him. I would class him as the real GOAT of football. Died today at 82 years old, ambassador for football. He's been nothing but a gentleman. Listening to him doing interviews and everything. Unfortunately, I only got to watch him playing in when I had a black and white TV when I was younger, and then DVDs later on as I got older. But we know one person here who actually probably have watched Pele play and always has said about Pele how great he is, and that's Omundi, sir.
Well, I'm not here to say it's
memories.
Yeah, I'm not saying to say total, but yeah, to me, Pele was the greatest. I'm not sad. When someone lives to 82 years old and lived the life that he led, I think he should be proud, and I think his family should be proud of him. And it's a sad loss, but he was suffering, and he will never be forgotten, that's for sure. One of the first great players in world football, and still to this day remains the best player that I've ever seen, or I can imagine there's ever been in football, in the sport of football. So we salute you, Pele. You've been a great ambassador, as you say. You've been an extremely great player. You did everything before all this new stuff came along. There's nothing new under the sun, because Pele arrived and he was doing that a long time ago. And as you said there, Errol, rightly so, he was an ambassador for the sport. Once he retired, he obviously set the market going in the US, playing for Major League Soccer and bigging up football, soccer over there. And since then, he's been supporting all kinds of things, all kinds of positive charities as well, including condoms and Viagra and things like that. So he's very
busy. Get paid, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Got to get paid. Got to be
what
paid.
A great player. And I mean, it's ironic, really, because we had a couple of years ago, Maradona died at 60 years old. People, think of him as one of the greats as well. from our generation, we've seen him play, and now we've just witnessed Messi as well playing. And after winning the World Cup, people are saluting him. So lately, there's been a bit of debate about who's been the greatest and everything else. It doesn't matter; they're all great players. But Pele, for me, is always going to be the number one.
Yeah, Mr. B. What can you remember of Pele? Just asking a question.
Yeah, I know where this is going now. I watched him on DVDs, but what I will say is he was always spoken about. I tried to look at players that I've seen play, and I haven't seen him play. So mine was always Maradona. As you get older, you see more things that are available. And on Monday, maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago, you sent a video about he did it first or something like that. That was a title, and it was just all of the skills that you see the players nowadays doing on the pitch. The chop, we call the Ronaldo chop. You know, flicking the ball over the player's head. These are things that were done, you know, what, 30, 40, 50 years before we're actually seeing it now. So, pioneer, best of a generation. He's the best ever. And as you said on Monday, to live to 82 and to cut his suffering, I'm not saying it was the best thing for him, but sometimes, you know, right now everybody's going to be celebrating his life. His family will be mourning. That's what happens. But as us, as fans, we'll be celebrating his life. So R.I.P. Pele.
100% there. And again, like you said about the Ronaldo chop, this and the other, but there's players out there who probably have done all those bits and pieces before with players we're looking at now. We're talking about that, the Rabona and stuff like that. When players score Rabona, we're like, oh my God. But probably in Pele's life, he would have scored a Rabona, but it wouldn't have been captured with camera or anything like that. So these are the things when, like what Mudde said, you got to appreciate all players. All these guys were great, fantastic players. It's almost like right now we're in a generation where, like I just said about the GOAT, the greatest of all time, but then it depends on what direction you're looking at it as. Was he the greatest player? Just enjoy what he had on the pitch and enjoy what he won as well on the pitch. So we got to appreciate all these players. Got to.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we had George Cohen, a World Cup winner, died recently as well. It's getting to that stage now where a lot of these players from that generation are passing on, and it's about how you remembered, isn't it? And obviously, we appreciate everyone who's contributed to the sport of football. We love the game. We love to play the game. And there's always going to be others that come along. And the game has grown so much. I mean, it's the biggest game sport in the world. I mean, you just look at the numbers right now. So, yeah, it's just a great honour, Pele. He's been one of the best players I've ever seen. And the argument comes when people start saying, well, Messi's better because Messi's got technology now and better pitches and all that kind of thing. And it's a bit more physical game and defences are better. We've heard so many counter arguments to all this kind of thing. But for me, if you're playing on these pitches, you're taking fouls like you did. You got kicked out of 2 World Cups, you know, and these are brutal fouls. It was just like, I'm going to take your ankle out or I'm going to break your leg. That's how bad it was, you know. So if you're playing in these conditions, and also you're playing in South America, where at the time a lot of South American players stayed in South America. You imagine that now, all the South American players that come over here who are winning Ballon d'Ors and helping European teams win things, if they stayed in their home nation in South America, that's how it was in the 50s and 60s. And then when Santos did go on tour around the world, they won all the cups. They beat all the European teams, the best European teams out there. And Pele was scoring abundance of goals. So for me, like you say, one of the greatest, but I don't mind getting into the argument about he's one of the greatest. He's in that bubble.
Yeah,
for sure.
100%. So, guys, Pele, rest in peace. You know, it's a sad moment in football. And like Omundi said, he probably would rather people celebrating what he's done in his achievement rather than sort of, you know, taking the other step. But what we are here also to do as well, guys, we will be talking about Manchester United as well. So we're going to kickstart the first thing with Manchester United. And I believe we're going to be talking about none other than the Dutch wizard, as I call him. Manchester United, apparently we were interested in buying this player in the summer. It was part of Erik ten Hag's plan. But unfortunately, with the whole Anthony deal, the money we meant to spend on Anthony, we overspent on Anthony and then couldn't afford the Anthony deal. So let's kickstart it now. On Monday, Liverpool came in and they did the same thing with Firmino as well. Manchester United under Sir Alex Ferguson did it with, I think, was it Patrice Evra Village as well, where Liverpool was after them, and he went out and basically Fergie brought them in. And has Jurgen Klopp got that pulling power now, or is it just Man United so slow off the mark these days?
For me, very simple. I'm going to put an end to all this stupid debate that's going on right now. Listen to me and listen very carefully, guys out there. This is not a case of, oh, Liverpool are better than us, they're more attractive than us, or Virgil van Dijk seduced him. It's simple as this, all right? It's nothing to do with our transfer policy or pointing things at anyone else. We bought who we needed to buy in the summer, and we had Gakpo. He's on our shortlist, one of the players we kind of needed. It's official. We said we needed a striker. That means some of the players down the centre. At the moment, we've got 5 or 6 players that play wide. One player who's a converted wide player in Martial, who's playing down the middle, and he's doing a good job. But he's injury prone, and he's not the main man down there. We need someone to back him up. A central striker. Gakpo, if you look at him, he's played 18 games in total in his whole career as a central striker, which suggests that he can play anywhere across the three, but he's not a specialist. We need a specialist central striker, and he's not the man. So I'm not just saying this because of my opinion, or I'm getting pelters from rival fans. Nothing to do with that. I've looked at the information. The information from the club says that we wanted a central striker. That's what we're waiting for. So let's be patient. Let's not worry. Oh, Liverpool got one over us. We were saying about Núñez. Do we really want Núñez now? Do we want, after what we've seen with Núñez? I mean, we could scout him as much as we did on the Man United agenda. But to this day, we're looking at him play now, and we're thinking, actually, this guy's a bit of a donkey. You know, that's some of the
dodge the bullet.
You know, so my thing is this: we wanted a specialist striker down the middle. This is what they're saying now. I'm also saying we never spoke to the club. You talk about the process of signing a player. You mentioned Vidic and all these other guys in the past. The process or the attraction of Klopp. It's nothing to do with that. He's on our books. We scout the player. We speak to his agent. Keep a close eye on it. And just watch developments. If we really wanted to go in, then we approach the club and make an offer. That's what usually happens. Because we haven't made an offer, it means we didn't really want him. So let him go to Liverpool and let him come to Old Trafford and watch everyone will boo him for some reason, say like he's rejected us or nothing. He was not there in the first place. So get over it, guys. Gakpo, good player. We've seen him against Arsenal in the Europa League. We've seen him in the World Cup now. We had a good assessment of him. And the assessment is probably not good enough because we need a central striker down the middle, a specialist, guys. Let's get it right. What, are we going to bring him on wide and let Garnacho sit on the bench again? No, come on now. Let's get someone who can play down the middle.
Yeah, and it's a good point you made there on Monday. Mr. B, you know this is going to be a question, lead with a question, lead with another question. So it's going to be a long question. Yeah,
so I'm prepared.
Yeah. So the first one is obviously Armando said it there. He's playing wide, yeah. So are we going to let someone like Garnacho, which just burst on the scene, looks a very promising player, go and spend 47? Because Manchester United, if we were to get him, we were going to buy him for 60 million, not 47. They wanted 60 million off Manchester United, where in the transfer market, his actual valuation is only 25 million. So we were going to go buy him, and then, as what Armando said, let Garnacho rot on the bench. Young prospects. And also for me, my whole thing with this, Mr. B, I don't know if the process enter your mind as well. Barcelona need to sell players, right? Or loan players out. Could it be a case of De Jong? We could get De Jong in. And also with the money as well, with what we didn't use to spend on bringing Gakpo in, but then we've got the money from Ronaldo. Could it be a case we could bring in João Felix and De Jong in the club on loan deals with an option to buy? Strengthen depth, isn't it?
De Jong, absolutely no chance. I think that ship has sailed a long time ago. I don't think. Don't get me wrong. Come the summer, it probably could be resurrected because by all accounts, the president of the Spanish FA was saying that those deals that Barcelona did last year, they've got rules in place now where they've put 8 new rules in place now where those deals can't be done again. And if they do, it's 5%. It can't be the 45 and the 25% that Barcelona was selling it for. So I'm not saying it can't be resurrected, but I would hate to think that we're going to go through that whole palaver again. Look, we tried to convince ourselves. We said, no, he's not coming in. And it got to the stage where We was on the shows thinking he was going to come, thinking that he was going to come. The deal was done, and he didn't come. All right, look, I think it's worked out perfect. I said it at the time. We got Casemiro, who is proving to be an elite. I'm talking elite central midfielder. You can't even call him a defensive midfielder because the passes that he's playing and the forward where he's, I mean, he didn't set up Fred from our half. He set up Fred from, let's be honest, he set up Fred from, and it was one touch. Fred's got a bend foot and he passed it into Fred where all he had to do.
You see that finish though?
Fred had a bend foot, sorry, is what probably I maybe should have said. But he didn't even have to break stride. He was able to pass. So we've now got, in that position, we've got elite. I've forgotten the question that you asked me again, Errol.
No, I was saying about, obviously, we're talking about bringing in, like, with the De Jong thing.
Sorry, you were talking about Felix, weren't you?
Felix,
yeah, you know what?
Jong, yes.
Well, De Jong, I don't think can happen. Felix is the one who I believe can happen. The issue is, how broke is broke? You know what I mean? Are we broke where we've got 5 million, or are we broke where we can, you know, work out this Ronaldo man? Obviously, he was getting paid monthly, and we can't. I'm looking at the worst case scenario here. You know, we're totally broke, but we would have been playing Ronaldo $1 million a month, 2 million a month. I don't assume that Atletico Madrid, in our wildest dreams, are going to take down payments of 2 million a month. So something has to be done somewhere. We're talking about selling Wan-Bissaka to fund. Well, Wan-Bissaka hasn't really done too bad in the 2 games that he's played. He's not Dalot. And he still looks awkward in that position. So where we maybe thought about funding money and saving money, maybe that's gone again as well. So it's not a straightforward loan with João Felix. It's going to be, they want a cash up front to pay for the loan, and then we have to cover his wages. So you're looking at between 16 and 20 million. Now, if the club can get that money, fine. I'm not sure. I'll be honest, we definitely do need a striker. The squad's just not big enough to cope with the games that we've got. And if, touch wood, God willing, we win our next game against Charlton, then we've got a 2-leg semi-final on top of the 2 legs against Barcelona that we've obviously got. So extra 4 games that the club wants to win. So we need some. I'm not saying we need somebody in, because then they could get me in, you in, or Omundi in. But they need somebody who can. They need somebody who can do a job, you know. So you've got to trust. So you say you trust the board. That's the hard part. I trust Ten Hag. He knows. Look at Gakpo's going to go and cause a chaos, but I don't want a Depay, but I will take a Depay if that's all that's left. Do you know what I mean? Is that bad?
It is bad.
Well, you guys talking about bad. Look, if we're talking about just loan options, there are some loan players out there that can come in and do a job. Granted, if they're coming in, you've got to say Martial's the first choice. These guys could come in. If Depay came in, would it be like second to Depay? They're on the same sort of level, I'd say. They actually signed for us at the same time anyway, you know. So, or if Morata came in, these are guys that can rotate. As Mr. B saying that.
Morata's available.
Really? Talk about him getting him on loan. Just a short-term option, as you're saying, because it won't disrupt the team too much. It'll just be short-term. Someone will have something to prove, and they can come in at the level they are. Like you talk about Depay, Morata, even Felix. These guys are on the level. They can do a good job, and they bring you something different that we haven't got at the moment, which is backup and experience as well. These guys are paid all around Europe and international players as well. So it's very essential, as you say. The more I heard Mr. B talking, I do think it's essential to have that central striker role fulfilled this January window. Otherwise, we might really, truly be suffering. And we're in a good position as well. You look at other clubs as well, like Arsenal, they're top at the moment. Are they going to invest to try to secure the league or try to challenge for the league? Tottenham did the same last year. They put some money towards themselves in January based on their good position, and it proved to be the right investment made. So hopefully we will see some investments made during this window, and we'll be covering it here in the Man United Agenda. And a right back and a striker, that's kind of the important positions that we'll be talking about. Can
I ask you something on Monday? Sorry, Errol. With you see a player coming on loan. Do you think they are more obligated to play well if it's a loan to a future sale to that club? Or do you think it's better for them just to have a loan with no obligation so that they can maybe sell themselves to everybody else?
Selling
I think it's an
themselves.
open
They're selling
question. I think
themselves.
that if we just go through the players quickly, we got this is the question. So Morata, has he got much to prove? He's been in the Premiership 2 seasons, scored 26 goals in 2 years at Chelsea. And what has he got to prove come to Man United? He might do a job, but would he think that Man United are going to sign him long term? The chances are probably not. Because he's been around, he's between.
How old is he now, though? Isn't he 30 or something like that?
He's nearly 30 years old.
Yeah,
right? But he
so,
scored
yeah,
5 goals. He scored 5 goals in 20 games this season, which is okay, and he does a lot of good things off the ball, which would be good for him. So him maybe not, but or Solo, what do you think about Felix? There's a different agenda there, isn't there? This is a player young and would be looking for a move.
23 years old. 23 years old, can play sort of centrally as well. So, I think Felix, for me, if I was looking at loan deals, I know we're saying about affordability, but he would be the one that I would want to try and bring in for Manchester United, because he would added that quality to the team. And also, right now, when you look at, say, Simeone, and no disrespect to Simeone, he's a good manager, but he's killing him with that football. Absolutely killing him with that football. You need to take the shackle off him and allow him to play.
Mr. B is asking, what would be, I'm talking about the motivation of Morata. What's Felix's motivation? What would Felix's motivation be to come to Man United? Would you think, all right, if I play well, I'll get a good deal? Because obviously we want someone to come in. And get,
100%. New contract, 100% at Man United, sign him up. That's what you would probably do, because it's, again, a project. Everything we're doing right now as Manchester United club and as fans, it's a project. We're on a project right now. We're on a project with Ten Hag. And the improvements there to show each week, we're getting better and better. All it is, Ten Hag just need his players to come in, and bringing in Felix literally would give the team such a big boost, because he's such a quality player. It will give the whole squad a boost.
I mean, look, I just had a thought. Beginning of the season, we were linked with Felix. Late in the window, but we were linked with Felix. Yeah. Do you think, obviously, we showed him interest 3 months ago. Do you think that this could be maybe a bargaining chip as well? The fact that it doesn't seem so random in regards to the fact that we were actually looking at him, because is Felix, would you say Felix was a better all-round player than Martial?
100, yes, and not as injury prone as Martial as well. And you got to remember as well, according to newspaper report, just say newspaper report because I don't know, I'm not flying the wall, but the rumor is him and Simeone don't get on. They're falling out. Simeone don't want him at the club, and he don't want to be at the club.
But that raises another question mark about his character, his professionalism. What's going on for him, for Simeone, to spend that sort of money on a great player, one of the starlets, who's up there with Foden in world football as one of the best young players in his generation. And what's happened to get £100 million deal from Benfica, and suddenly he's not being played. There's something going on there. It's an attitude problem. When we heard about Gakpo, who we were talking about earlier, one thing I can say for sure is that I'm told he's a great professional. There's question marks about Felix and question marks about injuries as well. If you actually look at his record, he's missed like 10 double-figure games every season. So there's something going on there. I'm not sure. But this is why I say short term, it will be a good look. We can have a look at him.
But on Monday, with that as well, we're going to finish off with the Felix one here in a second. But just asking you a question out there. Obviously, you're saying about the attitude of Felix with Simeone. Could it be a case when you watch him for Portugal, it's almost like he's got freedom of playing football? Yeah. When he's with Simeone, it doesn't feel like he's got the freedom of football. So is it a case that he's saying to Simeone, sort of either give him a free role to play, because the football he's playing, it's not allowing him to basically be the best? Right now, Felix is, like you said, is probably in his position one of the best probably in the world. But how can you showcase that playing football in that manner?
All right, this is a good question. I'll try and answer to the best of my ability here. This is about, look, Simeone is fighting against Real Madrid and Barcelona. He has to play his style of football, and he's been there a long time because he's been successful in winning two domestic leagues against these giants, And you got Kieran Trippier who's come back from there and said, it's amazing. The way they drill, the way they train, it's amazing how they set things up. So I think with Felix, being a striker, being a free-flowing player, you can see him in tricks and flicks, the way he wants to play in a free-flowing side. and he'd be the centre of everything, that'd be ideal, you know. But Atletico Madrid is obviously not happening. We played them a few times, a couple of times last year, and through that in the Champions League knockout rounds as well. We saw firsthand how different they could be, how they set up differently against us. And previously, before that, when they beat not Liverpool out in the cup as well, defensive, and then they struck. Really decisive, that kind of thing. So I think Felix will benefit from that. He doesn't realize that yet. He will benefit from the psychological, the understanding, the insight into the game, how to play defensive structure. And then when he gets his opportunity to play in a team that would be a bit more open, like Manchester United, he can really shine, because I can breathe again and play the way I want to play, and fit tactically as well. So but I do think it's a benefit to him, although he doesn't actually realise that as yet, because he feels he's been stifled in a system which benefits the team, not just him.
But Mr. B, with that as well, great answer. Thank you, Omundi. But with that, Mr. B, as well, don't you think if he went to Manchester United, do really well? Obviously, we know Bruno is probably the focal point at Manchester United, the captain at the moment, because I can't see Harry Maguire is technically the captain, but not going to really see play that many games. But do you think it could be a case of he could come in and Man United could build a team around him for the future? Because you got him, you got Garnacho, you've got Elanga as well, you've got Martinez
Sancho
as well, you got Sancho, you got Rashford, you got all of these young players that are coming through, and the rumor is apparently we are linked with Pickford as well. I know some Man United fan might be like, oh no, we don't want Pickford, but he's the type of player that Ten Hag's looking for, who can play the ball out from feet. So all of these little transition, could it be a case that if we get him, we could build a team around Felix?
I don't think Ten Hag's going to build a team around any player. What he's got is a system. And I think he wants the best players to play in that system, regardless of where they play. He doesn't have a specific, you play around Casemiro, you play around Rashford. These players are getting their chances playing in the spider's web that he's given them. And within that spider web, there's various ways that the players can go, but they're still in the shape of the web. So I don't believe that he's going to have... He will be building or making a formation where a player is the star. At this moment, the system's the star, and the players who are playing the best in that system are the ones who are going to stay. My opinion.
Yeah, just to add as well, I think you look at like Mourinho. He was at Chelsea. He put Ashley Cole in. Ashley Cole was a great fullback going forward all the time, and sometimes he wasn't allowed to cross the halfway line. Now that didn't affect him. He went on to win trophies, didn't he? He won some major trophies, league titles as well with Chelsea, and despite him being restricted in some ways. And sometimes you have to have discipline in your role for the benefit of the team. And as Mr. B was saying just there, our system is slightly different to what Diego Simeone has, but people do have a role. We'd like to get to the point where one player in, one player out, and they know exactly what they're supposed to do with that role and where they're supposed to run. As we saw yesterday, did a really going on rewatch the game the other day and really sort of getting a little insight into what little movements, because we're squeezing up the pitch, they're sort of sitting low, and there's a little compact area of space that these players have to make little moves around, and you can see little rotations going on and little things that are getting more and more well drilled as time goes by. I said I never saw that 6 months ago or 3 months ago. We can see the development of rotations and players picking up on things. Bruno especially, someone I used to run his car all the time about not getting back. And now I'm seeing him coming back deep to get the ball and receive. And then when Martial's coming deep to get the ball, Bruno's filling in the space. It's all like telepathic. It's happening. It's the only thing the other day that Wan-Bissaka hasn't been a part of that. He was a bit unstuck, not really know what to do, a bit robotic. But that's what I'm saying. The more time you play with Ten Hag, the more you're going to see an improved system and style of play.
Yeah, and I think, as you said there on Monday, like in the game, was it Burnley game we played? And it's almost like you can see different elements of what he's done from last season to this season in what he's bringing the characters. It seems like they lose the ball and it's almost like about getting the ball back, the recovery as well. Bruno Fernandes, you just spoke about as well. A lot of people criticize him still on social media or whatever about what he's doing, but I think his game management now is so much better. He may not be scoring the goals, he may not be sort of again, I'm going to say I criticize Bruno for falling over easily. At the moment, I'm not seeing that from him anymore. I'm seeing him, he's standing up, he's actually making that effort, getting up and down the pitch as well. And I think for us, as Bruno Fernandes, as a captain of Man United, that is true leadership he's showing at the moment.
Yeah, he's playing all right. I felt that Mr. B's nodding. I'm nodding too. He's playing better. Don't judge a man by his goals and assists. He gave an interview the other day stating that exactly. You're seeing it, Sola. Sure, Mr. B's nodding. He's seeing it as well. He's doing a lot of work now. He's getting used to the side, and he's with all the other players, he's getting used to the manager now, and we're seeing the positives of that. Like we're seeing later this week when we play our game. Hopefully, we see more of the same.
We always judge 10s. He's our number 10 really at the moment.
Yeah.
On goals and assists. If Bruno doesn't get, I wouldn't really put a figure on him, but I look at Bruno as a person or a player who wouldn't have a problem not getting any assists or any goals as long as the team won.
Yeah,
I think that's more, some players you see, they want to score goals. You look at Ian Wright and you look at Jermaine Defoe. They wanted to score goals. Regardless of what the team did, I'm actually seeing or thinking at the moment that Bruno, all right, you want to score the goals, but he's still getting that joy from other people doing that part, because I think he's seeing the bigger picture as well, that you can't just do things on your own.
Yes. And the thing with it as well, he brings in, you can see how he almost connect everyone together. So it's almost like all the players sort of around him. It's like last season to this season, it's a total different player. It's almost like you said, Omundi, it's like the Ten Hag. It's a system. He knows the Ten Hag system, so he can play in the Ten Hag system. He understands it. It's drilled. So now he can pick a pass out, and rather those Hollywood passes, you don't do them anymore.
Yeah, there's less responsibility on him as well, because he's looking around. He's in his change room. Casemiro, right, Ericsson.
Hold on. Wait. Right, Fred. Right,
yeah,
Fred.
no, I'm not so sure about that. But that's a flashback to the old days when it wasn't so good. And he felt he had to do everything when he saw Fred. Yeah, oh, God, here we go. Tommy, Fred, okay, here we go. Oh, Harry Maguire and Brandon Williams. Oh, here we go. That and Wan-Bissaka. Do I feed him or not? I'm going to play the Hollywood part. It takes less. I think he felt more responsible when he first came in to save our season, get us back. Really, and he had this sort of tag of being penalties and free kicks and getting goals and stats. You can't live on that forever. Even like the great players, it's all declines. You can improve your game. And I think looking around the change room now, you see there's a lot of better caliber of player, better caliber of side, more fluency, more patterns of play, and I think it takes that pressure off him. So it makes him a better player.
Right, guys, that's all from us actually.
What we got on?
Thank you.
What we got on for the rest of the week?
Gone, man. For the rest of the week, we've got tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. So make sure you tune in for that show. It's gonna be the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. So what's good for Man United?
Some gunslinging.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who's going to be the sheriff in this town? We will find out tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. We need to find out who the sheriff is. So we're going to talk about the good so far for Manchester United in the year 2022. What was bad as fans of Manchester United, and what was the ugly part of the whole situation at Manchester United in 2022. So make sure, guys, in this video, you make sure you like, you comment, you share, and you subscribe. And so we'll be back for 8:30 for that show. And at 10 o'clock is the Friday night takeaway. So you can join Mr. B and TalkMU on that. And you can see the show, which is Spot the Ball. But most importantly, Mr. B. So guys, bring your apron, mate. Bring your apron. Bring whatever you want to bring.
I have to bring a sick man.
And a bucket.
Yeah. And a bucket. Listen, the best way of doing it is boil them first and then fry them.
I've never heard that one, but
no, but Mr. B don't like them, so I'm trying to get it a bit more crispy for him.
You know what you're taking.
They're tasteless anyway.
Batter them, put them in batter or something like that. It'd be easier to eat them. Oh, it's a surprise
Guys, you will
element, isn't it?
you will see us tomorrow at 10 o'clock. We have the watch along on Saturday, reaction show on Saturday, Sunday off, and then
Yeah,
we're back
and
again.
Monday.
Hopefully, God willing, with Andy Tate on Monday. So yeah,
Brilliant, guys.
Peace
From
out.
us, though, listen, it's been absolutely fantastic. 35 minutes went so quick, but again, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And from us, good night.